This video teaches you all about Temtem's breeding mechanics. You'll learn what Temtem are compatible, what fertility is, how to pass on egg moves, what SVs get inherited, how engineered DNA strands work, and how luma breeding works. There are a surprising amount of veteran players that don't know exactly how engineered DNA strands work, so if you already know how to breed, I still recommend sticking around and you might learn something new. If you're new to breeding and want to learn how to breed perfect SV Temtem, I recommend watching this video first, then checking out my step-by-step how to breed perfect Temtem guide coming out soon. I'm Milars, and I have experience breeding and selling 6 different species of perfect Temtem, so I have enough experience breeding Temtem to pass on to you. Before we get into the video, comment what starter you picked down below. I started my journey with a hoochick I named Squidoo. If you end up liking this video, consider giving it a thumbs up. If you want more Temtem guides and other Temtem content, consider subscribing and clicking the bell icon to get alerted when more videos are posted. Now let's get into it. To breed Temtem, you must go to the breeding center in Superior Indonesia and hand over 2 Temtems to the man on the left. The man will not allow you to put in 2 Temtems that are not compatible, so don't worry about waiting for nothing. You can also have 2 breeding pairs in the breeding center at a time. A female Temtem can breed with any male Temtem that has a typing in common with it. This means that a Loali can breed with a Whiplump, but not a Fomu, since both Loali and Whiplump have the wind type in common, but Fomu does not. The resulting egg will be whatever species the female is. This means that if you're trying to breed a specific Temtem, you'll need a female of that species and then any compatible male. Here's a little trick. You can filter your Tem deck to show only compatible males by pressing Z, clicking the male icon, then clicking the 1 or 2 types your Temtem has in the first row only. This way you will find a Temtem that has either type instead of both types. Don't just go breeding your Temtem willy-nilly though. Each Temtem has a limited amount of times it can breed, as shown graphically with these leaves. This is called fertility, or fert for short. Each lit up leaf and stem counts as 1 fertility. A Temtem loses 1 fertility every time it breeds. Once it's out of fertility, it can't produce any more eggs. The amount of fertility is also passed down from parent to offspring. The egg will inherit the fertility of the least fertile parent after the fertility has already been subtracted from breeding the egg. This means that if you breed a Temtem with 7 fertility with a Temtem with 2 fertility, the parent's fertility will be reduced to 6 and 1 respectively, and the resulting child will be born with 1 fertility. If you breed 2 Temtem that both start with 7 fert, the parents and the resulting offspring will all have 6 fert once the offspring egg is made. It is most advantageous to breed 2 parents with the same fertility to maximize the offspring's fertility. This fertility mechanic helps prevent the market from being flooded with perfect Temtem. Wild Temtem have a maximum of 8 fertility, though this initial fertility can be lower even when freshly caught. If the wild Temtem has any SVs above 45, it will have a starting fertility lower than 8. With 1 or 2 SVs above 45, it'll have 7 fert. 3 to 4 good SVs reduces the fert to 6, and so on. Once you put your Temtem in the breeding center, it will take 5 minutes to make an egg if the breeding pair are from the same evolutionary line, or 10 minutes if they're not. You can only breed if you have 3 or more Temtem in your party. You'll know when the eggs are ready because it will pop up on the breeding desk. Eggs take anywhere from 5 to 45 minutes to hatch depending on how rare the Temtem is. There are 2 optional items you can get from quests that will allow you to see how long an egg will take to hatch and speed up the egg hatching process. You'll want to get an egg timer by breeding a Bigu from a Babawa and then bringing it to this man in Tukma. Turn it on and you can see when your eggs will hatch. You'll also want to get an incubator device, an item that cuts the hatch time of the first egg in your party by half. You can get this item by bringing this scientist a Gyalis egg and then a Hidudi egg. It's also possible to breed Temtem that have moves that it normally wouldn't learn by leveling up. These are called egg moves, and they're denoted by a small egg symbol in the corner of a move. To give a Temtem egg moves, you have to breed a female of the species you want to a male of the species that passes on the egg move. For example, if you want a Bunbun with Duct Vortex, breed a female Bunbun to a male Volphy, and the resulting baby Bunbun will have access to Duct Vortex. Some egg moves can only be passed down through chain breeding. This means you have to breed an egg move onto a Temtem, and then use that Temtem to breed that egg move onto another Temtem. This is currently the case for Tatru's egg move Perfect Jab. There are no Temtem compatible with Tatru that naturally learn the move, so you must breed the egg move onto a Skunch and then breed the Skunch with a Tatru. You can check the official Temtem wiki for the list of all possible egg moves the species can learn. Now that we know how to breed, let's look at how single values or SVs are passed down. Offspring inherit one of 3 options for each stat. the mother's SV, the father's SV, or the average of the two SVs. For each stat, there is a 40% chance the offspring will inherit the higher SV between its parents, a 40% chance that it will inherit the average between the two SVs, and a 20% chance it will inherit the lower SV between its parents. If both parents have the same SV for that particular stat, that SV will be guaranteed to be passed down to the offspring. There are also some items called DNA strands that guarantee specific stats are passed down to offspring. When breeding perfect Temtem, these items are necessary and will guarantee you perfect Temtem if done correctly. I explain more about how to breed perfect Temtem in my step-by-step perfect breeding guide. You can find it in the iCard and in the description when it's posted. There is also one DNA strand unlike any other called the engineered DNA strand. Instead of passing on SVs, it passes down trait slots. Not specific traits, trait slots. But what does this mean? Every Temtem has the possibility of having one of two traits. You can see them in your Tempedia if you caught them already, or on the official wiki if you haven't. The trait on top is slot 1. The trait on bottom is slot 2. If you breed a female camaraderie Peharak holding an engineered DNA strand to a male air specialist Saku, you'll get a friendship Baharo as an offspring. This is because camaraderie and friendship are both slot 2 traits. However, if you give the same Saku the engineered DNA strand instead, it passes down its slot 1 trait and the resulting Bahara will have hover. Here's a quick breeding tip to save you a bit of time in case you're mass breeding. You can toggle the egg opening animation on and off in the settings. Now on to Luma breeding. An egg produced from 2 Luma parents has a 1 in 80 chance of being a Luma. An egg from 1 Luma parent and 1 non-Luma parent has a 1 in 800 chance of being a Luma. I do not recommend breeding a Luma to a non-Luma unless you're trying to breed for a Luma that won't ever appear in the Sci Park. Otherwise, save your Luma's fertility to use with another Luma. An egg from 2 non-Luma parents still has a 1 in 8,000 chance of hatching as a Luma, the same chance as encountering one in most wild encounters. It's possible, albeit incredibly rare, to get a perfect Luma this way. It's also one of the only ways to get a Luma that has no perfect SVs. If you're Luma hunting, don't try to Luma hunt by hatching eggs. You're much better off properly hunting for one. If you want to learn how to Luma hunt, feel free to check out my comprehensive Luma hunting guide in the iCard above and in the description below. That's all there is on the basics of breeding. If you found this video helpful, consider giving it a thumbs up, leaving a comment telling everyone what you've bred, and sharing this video with your friends. I also stream on Twitch, so feel free to drop a follow and come chat with us when we're live. I also occasionally do giveaways for Lumas and perfect Temtems on my stream. The stream link is in the description below. If you want more guides and other Temtem content, subscribe and hit the bell icon, and I'll see you next time!